Okay, let's get started with the briefing. Again, this is our weekly impact briefing from the National Weather Service in Raleigh. This is for the upcoming week, September the 26th through October the 2nd. My name is Barrett Smith. I'm a forecaster here in Raleigh, and so we'll get started. Just a few highlights for you for the upcoming week. Of course, it's cloudy out today, a little cool or cooler than it has been in the past several weeks. We'll see rain chances increasing, especially across western North Carolina as we go through the evening hours and overnight. And that will be associated with a cold front that's going to move into the area on Tuesday and then move very slowly across the area Tuesday night, and into Wednesday. That's due in part to a deep upper level low that's going to dip down over the Tennessee Valley and keep temperatures slightly below normal as we go through the week as well. Because that front is going to be slow moving, we may see some minor flooding possible Tuesday and Wednesday, but at this point none of the models are really showing us any signs for any widespread hazardous weather. So here's just kind of a look at overall what's going on with the weather, and I mentioned this upper level low that's currently over south central Canada, and a cold front that drapes down across the Midwest. That cold front's going to move in later tonight, and that upper level low is going to deepen and settle over the Tennessee Valley and really not move for several days. And in addition to that, you can see some moisture here on our water vapor imagery off of the coast of Savannah, and we'll tap into some of that moisture, and that may help bring some of the minor flooding potential that we could have over the next couple of days. So here's your typical weather map showing the advance of the cold front early this week, and then moves into the mountains late tonight, early tomorrow. And then that will slip into the area, and the top right here shows midweek, and you'll see a little low pressure that develops along that front. A lot of times when a low develops like that, the front is slow to move, and that can bring enhanced rainfall. So again, we're going to be looking at just some unsettled weather for the next couple of days. As we get into late week and into the weekend, the front will move off shore. That upper level low that I mentioned is still going to sit over the Tennessee Valley for a few days, but we expect that most of our precipitation is going to be to the north of central North Carolina, so more over Virginia, West Virginia, and Ohio. So while that upper level low is there and we can see periods of cloudiness, we think that most precipitation for late week and weekend is going to be to our north, and we may actually have a decent start of October. Here's the outlook for thunder for the next several days, and as we get into late September and October without a very vigorous system, a lot of times it gets hard for us to have severe weather. And so while we may see some thunderstorms really tomorrow and into Wednesday, those will be isolated and likely to not be severe. Your rainfall forecast for the next few days, the precipitation will move into the mountains later tonight in the western half of the area for the first part of Tuesday, and you can see with the rain showing that signs of the front moving very slowly across the area. And so in total over the next couple of days, we're expecting anywhere from maybe a half an inch to an inch and a half in some spots. Again, this is not expected to cause any major problems, but we could see some isolated areas that get some minor flooding. If you're interested in the tropics, and I know a lot of people are, there's a couple systems out there that the Hurricane Center is watching. The main one is to the east of the Windward Islands. That one, over the next 5 days, they give a 90% chance of developing into a tropical system, and models are showing that moving into the Caribbean, and they've kind of been consistent on that path and some development. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. It's not a threat to the United States anytime soon, but of course as it gets into the Caribbean, a lot of times any movement to the north will head our way, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Here's an outlook for next week. So while we talk about temperatures being just a little bit below normal and in the 70s this week, it looks like the pattern will shift. That upper level low that we've talked about will lift off to the north, and we kind of get into a southwesterly flow, and so that's likely going to bring us some above normal temperatures. So we may well be back into the 80s next week and dry again. So a little reprieve again from some of the heat, but warming potentially next week. So in summary for the weekly impact briefing, again, cloudy and some rain tonight, Then again on Tuesday and Wednesday with a slow-moving cold front, upper level low is going to sit to our west and kind of bring us some maybe unsettled weather, but we think that most of the rainfall when we get to Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend, again, is going to be north of our area. We're not expecting any widespread hazardous weather this upcoming week. We'll keep an eye out on the radar and for some urban and minor flooding, but again, no widespread hazardous weather is anticipated. And that brings us to the end of the briefing. I'll be happy to take any questions if anyone has any, and of course if you have questions later, don't hesitate to contact us. Okay, seeing no questions so far, we'll end the weekly briefing. I hope everyone has a great week, and we'll talk to you next Monday.